Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the House of Kayfabe. I am Brian Reznor, and we are doing a special edition of sorts tonight because some big things happened in professional wrestling. Well, let's just be honest. A really big thing happened, and some other shit happened too. And we are here to talk about it. I have got Stephen Barker with me. I have got Derek Jones. I have got Matt Mullins, and I have got the one and only Stephen P. New in to check in and talk about the big happenings. And before we get there, I want to say we're on YouTube. That's right. We are on YouTube for the very first time, and this is a tester. I know we were supposed to release content on August 27th, but instead, I have been pressured by the residents of the House of Kayfabe to make this so. So this is our tester video, and what a good tester video, because tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about CM Punk. And finally, it's a real thing. 7 years waiting, just being disappointed. And there's all kinds of different fans out there. There are the CM Punk fans that stuck with him, and they're like, oh, I love CM Punk no matter what. Even if you left me, even if you got beat up in MMA, I don't care. I love CM Punk, like Derek Jones. Or you have the CM Punk fan who's like, I love CM Punk with everything in me. And then every year, the disappointment just continued to build until you didn't give a shit anymore. Till this didn't even feel real tonight. And even when the music hit, I even said to my wife, I said, you know what, if I was Tony Khan, I would just hit his music and let him come the fuck out here and say something. And then his music hit. And I was like, is this real? I don't know. I don't think this is real. And then when I seen him, it was all over. Matt Mullins, what did you feel like when you seen?
I felt in my heart it was going to be MJF walking out to Cult of Personality.
That's what I thought too. I really thought that.
What a fucking heel turn it's going to be. I was like, it's going to be awesome, and I didn't get that. But you know what? I popped. I had chills. I didn't whelp up. Welt up.
It felt so special to see the reactions from people when you seen actual fans that are literally in tears, and instead of making fun of them, you're like, I get it.
Yeah,
I totally fucking get it. I understand why you're emotional, because this is an emotional thing. I believe. I mean, to me, this is everything we've wanted for 7 years. For 7 years, if you were a CM Punk fan like I was a CM Punk fan, which I know Derek Jones is a CM Punk fan like I am a CM Punk fan, and I believe that Barker is a CM Punk fan like I am a CM Punk fan. And when I don't know, man, it was, what do the kids say? Satisfying. It was satisfying, ladies and gentlemen. I felt satisfied, a lot more satisfied than watching somebody cut rubber with like a machine or something.
Although that's kind of satisfying too.
You've seen those videos? Oh, it's so satisfying. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Have you not seen CM Punk come back?
Fuck your pimple popping. Have you seen CM Punk come back? As I am the Larry David of wrestling commentary, I was wondering, and I thought of this today, and I think I even said maybe something in our chat, because we just have this excellent chat that goes on, and one day when we have an OnlyFans account, that's going to be part of that. You'll get to see what we talk about in our
no, you're not
regular
allowed
chat.
On OnlyFans anymore after October.
No, we won't be showing anything. Now OnlyFans will just be good, innocent.
Non-pornographic.
We're non-pornographic. Yeah. The only thing.
After that stuff Matt was trying to bring to the chat today, I don't know about that.
Yeah, that's true. But
Parker, I thought you were trying to show your dick still. I didn't realize that the plan changed.
Well, I did that before we started this viewing.
Voodoo to yourself, Matt.
God damn right, Matt. But I was thinking today, and I said it in the chat, and I was like, man, is it being too long? Could this be too little too late? Now, it was in Chicago, right? And if Chicago is any indication, now, of course, he could have came out in Chicago when he was a 70-year-old man, and it would have still been the same kind of pop. But this is how big of a thing this was. My fiance does never searches anything about wrestling because she doesn't know anything about wrestling. She got a notification on her phone. She's a chef. All she looks up is fucking cooking stuff, and a completely non-wrestling cell phone got a notification. That is fucking huge. Did John Cena? I don't think she got the John Cena notification when he came back a couple weeks ago, and she got the CM Punk. So that's how big this is.
Wow. I mean, it was a really, really major thing to see him walk out. It was even more it was even more impactful to see him standing there than it was for him to even cut the promo. And I really honestly believe him when he said he had no idea what he was going to say. I believe him. If he would have thought about that, that promo would have been way better than it was. But it felt real. It was a real reaction from a real person that we've wanted to see for 7 years. Stephen P. New, you're not the biggest CM Punk fan in the world.
I'm not.
What?
But what did you feel anything from this? Because it feels to me like you had to have.
No.
Nothing.
I was happy. I did not. I was happy for CM Punk fans. Okay? So, as a fellow wrestling fan, I feel I have felt on occasions what you guys are feeling. I just didn't feel it tonight because I don't feel about him the way you guys feel about him. But as an event, knocked it out of the park. As an event, it was give you chills. It just didn't give me chills because I'm not that big on CM Punk. And I don't need to go into the reasons why I'm not huge on CM Punk. But as a wrestling fan 40 years this month, I can recognize the event for what it was. The thing that made the notification go off on Barker's girlfriend's phone, yes. The thing that's trending on social media, the thing that breaks Pro Wrestling Tees website, and that what AEW was probably thinking takes it to the next level and is probably causing some biting and some nails in Stamford, Connecticut tonight. I can recognize it for that. And I don't think that you even have to be the biggest CM Punk fan to recognize the moment for what the moment was.
When he picked up the microphone and he addressed people who may have been disappointed, I felt like he was talking directly to me. I felt like that he could have just said, Brian Reznor, please just give me another chance. I'm sorry I disappointed the shit out of you for 7 fucking years, but I'm back now and I'm going to wrestle Darby Allin. Darby Allin is our first match, CM Punk style. I don't know that I necessarily would have looked that way. I think it's going to be entertaining, and I don't care. I want to see him wrestle no matter who he wrestles, but I just figured it was going to be somebody else other than Darby. But I guess we should have just knew that because of the teaser that Darby threw out a couple weeks ago.
Now, I said in the
book anything.
What?
Can they book anything? Here you got a guy who's showing up, and he's got all this babyface love, right? 7 years back, hometown. It'd be like, not Ric Flair. God, that's a bad comparison. CM Punk is not a 16-time champion. How many times has he been a world champion? 2, 3?
5, 6. 4,
All
5, 6. ECW as well.
5 or 6 time.
He was Ring of Honor too.
Hometown crowd. He's obviously got the babyface love. Can Tony Khan not book anything? I've got a theory about why Darby Allin is the opponent. Because CM Punk does not look ring ready to me. I could be wrong. He looks small. So I think he's
small.
He's always been small.
But he also got smaller when he fought MMA. Derek, did he fight at 170, 175? What do you fight at?
75.
Yeah. So I mean he shed
smaller than 175 now. I think he's got to have a guy like Darby Allin. Just do they not understand baby faces and heels?
No.
I mean,
it's still AEW.
A face, right?
It's still AEW. Look, CM Punk's back, but it's still AEW, so that's all going to be
tell me
the
why
same.
I'm wrong here.
Yeah, I was going to throw it to Derek. Derek in the chat. I said his first words should be Kenny Omega, and Derek Jones.
Well,
why?
Before we talk about that specific thing, I want to take us to another perspective of CM Punk coming out after someone's waiting for 7 years. Derek Jones is probably the biggest CM Punk fan that I know. And I really want to put myself in your shoes for this right now. And I want you to explain to me how you felt when you seen this and realized it was a real thing.
So I'm a huge Punk fan.
Really?
Since Ring of Honor days. And a lot of people say I watched him in Ring of Honor. Well, I did watch him in Ring of Honor, as in I actually went to events and watched Joe versus Punk live.
Wow.
I watched CM Punk wrestle in Ring of Honor. I was there. I've been a fan for a long time. Fell off a little bit when he first come to WWE because I wasn't sure what they were going to do with him. They put him in ECW, and I'm like, yeah, this is still the guy. This is the guy that I like. I'm with him. Even through the Straight Edge Society, I'm with him.
Wait, let me add something to your thing real quick. Pause real quick. Now, this is Derek Jones, who talks about wrestlers all the time that none of us know who they even are. So he brings up names constantly, and he brings those names to the House of Kayfabe, to the residents, and he says, hey, this is going to be the next big thing. Well, at one time, Derek Jones was sitting around saying, hey, there's this guy named CM Punk, and he's going to be the next big thing. And everybody was like, whatever, Derek. Who the fuck is that? Nope, nobody knows. But Derek was trying to tell you then, just like he's trying to tell you now. Go back, Derek. Go ahead, CM Punk.
CM Punk, all the way through Straight Edge Society to where he is now. When he left the WWE, I was one of those people. I was live in attendance to watch him get beat by Mickey Gall. I went to Ohio to watch his first UFC event. His music hit, that's probably one of the biggest pops I've ever experienced live outside of a wrestling arena.
Wow.
It was unreal because the arena for UFC was filled with wrestling fans. CM Punk has one of the biggest followings I've ever seen. It's ridiculous. His music hit tonight, and I got chills. He hadn't even come out yet, and I had chills. Right. Because I'm just sitting here thinking it could be, and it may not be. I liked Matt's thing. MJF could have walked through that curtain and just ruined my night. Weeks ago, Steve New talked about how it was not going to happen and we would have to eat crow over this. And I couldn't be one of those people. I had to believe that CM Punk was coming back.
It was like Tinkerbell.
Oh my God.
You had to believe in it for it to be real.
I did. And I believed. And I believed so much that when we went to commercial break, I ran down the hallway. I went into my bedroom. I woke up Brittany and I said, he's back. I'm so excited he's back. And she looks at me. What? She looked at me and she goes, what the hell are you talking about? I said, CM Punk's back and it's bigger than the McRib.
You heard here, folks.
And I ran back down the hallway because I heard the fans chanting CM Punk because we were back from commercial break. And I ran down the hallway and I'm just hanging on every word he said. Every single word, as if it was the first thing he'd ever said to me. And when he sat down in the middle of that ring, chills all over again. I'm telling you, if I would have been in attendance in that crowd, I would have been one of the schmucks sitting up in there with tears running down my face. Not an exaggeration.
My wife looked at me and was like, "Are you tearing up?" And I was like, "No."
I had a bit. I did too.
Right. It was just an amazing moment to see that. And you were just talking about when the music hit. The chill level was there when the music hit. As a musician, Matt Mullins, how important was it for Tony Khan to secure that music?
It was everything. I mean, it
really was.
I mean, yeah. I mean that moment is so important. Music along with pro wrestling. I'd love to have a full episode of the House of Kayfabe just about the history of a lot of the theme music and kind of diving into some of the rights. But man, what a great band. What a great song. Perfect for Punk. Man, it was awesome. Not
to name drop and put myself over, but my good friend Corey Glover from Living Color. He's not really my good
Well,
friend.
I was about to wait. Do you have a Corey Glover story?
I do. I have two covered.
Go on.
But we're not talking about Corey Glover. What we're talking about is his tweet today. His tweet said, "Cult of Personality is trending. I wonder why." And we got to see that. I thought that was pretty cool that he was kind of giving us a tease too.
He was counting that cash, is what he was doing, baby. He was counting that bread.
I just tripped over another name that Reznor dropped.
I was going to put Matt Mullins over because Matt Mullins, is one of the musicians. We have a few musicians in the House of Kayfabe, and Matt Mullins has a theme music for a major wrestler right now. Do you not, Matt Mullins?
Yeah, our buddy Heath. Took. Actually, he picked my brain, and I wrote the song for him. So I'm stoked to do that.
So when you hear him on Impact Wrestling, you're hearing Matt Mullins, baby.
Yeah, Matt Mullins, the Bring Downs on Impact.
Goddamn right.
Now, of course, CM Punk coming back to the wrestling business was a huge thing for wrestling, period. And tonight was so stacked. At 7:00, you could have tuned in and started watching Impact Emergence. And that started at 7. I did not catch that at 7. I started watching that around 8:30 when I realized it was happening. So I was already in the middle of SmackDown, which was a pretty good show tonight as well. And it led into Rampage. Now, one thing I want to address before we start talking about Emergence or SmackDown or the rest of Rampage is the rumors that were going around that WWE was actually going to have a longer SmackDown than usual. They were going to push SmackDown into the 10 o'clock hour so that they could take some viewership away from Rampage. But instead, we seen SmackDown end 3 minutes early, which I thought was pretty interesting.
Well, that's what happens when you let motherfuckers do unscripted promos, because they didn't know what John Cena and Roman Reigns was going to come out and do. So those guys were out there freestyling. It felt like a breath, all of their promos have been a breath of fresh air. But when you don't script it, you don't know how long you're going to go. And I think that the fact that was even a rumor means that AEW might actually be on the radar. And I know that Derek Jones has always thought that AEW has been on the radar, but I truly have never thought that they were on their radar. But the fact that was even a rumor.
Yeah. I think they moved the needle tonight. I think that was.
They did.
I think they moved the needle. I'm excited to see when the ratings or whatever really come out. And I mean, I know it's going to be crazy, but just just like Corey Glover tweeting it, so many people retweeted different memes of Punk, and I saw that when his music hit too, and they showed those crowd shots, that same parallels of when the streak got broke. Then there were so many memes of that guy's face, like there's going to be so many good crowd shots because it was so many people were so into it, including me. So
that first crying guy is a meme tomorrow.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, it was.
You definitely need to get on that, Barker. Make him a meme for the House Kayfabe tomorrow.
And I wanted to talk about too, real quick, was that I loved the part in Punk's promo where he took it back to I left pro wrestling in 2000. I started pro wrestling in 2005 or whatever. Yeah.
When he was talking about leaving ROH,
leaving Ring of Honor, and he's like, now I'm back, and that kind of nod or middle finger to sports entertainment, and I thought that was a really cool.
I was actually worried that he would get bogged down in just burying WWE. He had to do it. It had to be done because that's the reason why he's not a wrestler, is because of WWE. The reason why he's been gone for 7 years is that. So he had to address it, and he did it perfectly because he could have, but of course he's one of the best promos ever. He could have bogged that down with just too much burying of the last promotion.
I have to.
And he did. I thought he struck a great balance.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, exactly.
Well, I have to say this: that you said that the reason why CM Punk's been gone for 7 years is because of the WWE. I correct you. No, the reason why CM Punk's been gone for 7 years is because CM Punk has been very selfish, and that's okay. It's okay that he's been selfish. He wanted to be an MMA. He wanted to be an MMA fighter. It didn't work out. I get it. He had other things he wanted to do. And then there's a part of this that is just laziness. He could have done AEW from the gate. He could have made AEW a player from the gate, and he decided not to. These are all his decisions. That maybe the first year, sure, blame that on the WWE. But really all you can blame on the WWE is 90 fucking days. After 90 days, it's on CM Punk at that point. And I'm giving him the second shot. I'm giving him the second chance, but I'm not going to sit here and say the WWE kept him out of wrestling for 7 years when actually he kept himself out of wrestling.
You didn't hear what he said then. He said, I needed some time for me to get rid of the sickness that had been put in me by the place that was making me sick. That takes longer than, just 1 year necessarily, or, whatever.
Okay, 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, 7 fucking years.
Reznor heel turn on CM Punk. Holy
I'm
shit.
sorry. I'm still pissed off. I mean, I'm happy that he's back, but I'm still pissed off that he's been gone for 7 fucking years.
Feelings, CM Punk. I do what you wanted to do for 7 years instead of entertaining me.
So for as long as I've known Brian
You
Reznor,
owed it to me, Brian Reznor, to entertain me for 7 years. Screw you, Punk. Screw you, Punk.
Yes.
You got that, YouTube?
There you go.
so
Get him, Derek. Get him, Derek.
So for as long as I've known Brian Reznor, I've heard him say that speech. He has felt this same way. Brian gave me this as a birthday present. This is from Brian Reznor, and he told me the same thing when he gave it to me. He's been gone, and I'm mad about it. He's being selfish. He just needs to come back so I can watch him.
He's like a scorned dude. Brian Reznor is a scorned lover. Holy shit.
Yeah, but really, when it comes down to it, it's like a $400 action figure I just gave to Derek Jones because I was pissed off at CM Punk.
Dude, it's about 1,000 right now.
It's probably is.
And I've loved it ever since.
I'm sure. Hey, well, you know what? It's my honor to give it to you, Derek Jones. Look at that collection behind you. You're really doing it upright. You've got more AEW figures than me, and I thought I was doing pretty good at 20.
You make too much money. So wait, let's get back to what I wanted to talk about with Derek a couple minutes ago. Again, I guess I have to be the fucking guy that complains. I'm not buying. I mean, obviously, I'm going to now watch AEW more religiously. And like, if we want to talk about the impact of it, I watch AEW very sparsely, honestly, because they fucked me on that one pay-per-view with the exploding fucking ring match. And they're like, dude, look, man, you cheat on me. I'm not going to trust you anymore. You know what I'm saying?
You get your money back though?
Fuck no. I sent my shit to fucking Stephen New and it came back, son. I was sending expense reports to Stephen P. New and Associates, and they said get bent. So the thing is,
Don't do that.
Yeah, dude, they don't give a fuck over there, man. They're fucking
The large print
cutthroat.
giveth and the small print taketh away.
They
Barker.
cutthroat over there. So I'm the guy. You know, if you're just watching us on YouTube, you'll eventually get all the rest of the content that we have been making, and you will know that I am the #1 AEW, not hater, but I am the most complaining of the bunch about AEW. I am that guy.
You have a segment called Barker Bitches. So yeah.
Yeah, but now
you're the bitcher.
Dude, I work until 10:30 on Wednesdays usually, but I will be watching it as soon as I get off work next Wednesday. I am the guy that CM Punk is going to bring back to that group. And I went to AEW when they came to town. I mean, I was at the same show that Derek was at. I've been giving them a chance. I've given them a lot of fucking chances over this last however long. And dude, they brought CM Punk back. You know, it's time to reconcile. I'll reconcile.
The question that you had was, why did CM Punk say Darby Allin when you thought he should have said Kenny Omega?
I think Kenny Omega, maybe I was wrong, maybe Omega, maybe a little too high. Derek Jones, you said, fuck off, Steve. Obviously, no. Why doesn't he have to just skip the line?
Derek, how would you book him?
So I probably wouldn't book him against Darby right out of the gate. I would put him against, unless I'm going to turn Darby heel.
So
it would be very easy to do because Darby has one of the best baby faces in the history of professional wrestling by his side right now that he could turn heel on while feuding with CM Punk, and it would be very easy to do. But you don't place him against Kenny Omega right now, because if you do, you've killed everything you've been building since day one of AEW's inception of building Hangman Page. And it's not, and we said it from the beginning. I'm one of the biggest CM Punk fans in the world, and I would not book him against Kenny Omega until the belt is on Adam Page.
So who would you book him against?
Yeah.
MJF. It's a promo battle.
There you go.
It's a promo battle. Why? Who else would you put him with right now?
That's, you're right. You're
So
right.
you book him. You book him with MJF for your promo battle. You have a continuation of WrestleMania with Chris Jericho.
Yes.
There's a lot going on in AEW that you could book CM Punk with. Book him against Cody. Cody puts over everybody else. Why not CM Punk?
Cody would be and Christian Cage even. I wouldn't mind seeing Christian Cage. And
He's got old beef with Moxley too.
Well,
Yeah.
so what if right after, like, when they pan away from Punk, going around and giving high fives, and they pan to they show the back locker room, and it's Evil Uno, and he's handing a cigarette to Colt Cabana, and Colt Cabana's like, fuck.
Man, they sued each other, right? He sued Colt Cabana sued him, or CM Punk sued Colt
Cabana sued CM Punk
because he wanted. Stephen P. New, what happened there, please?
I don't know.
Lawyers don't get that. There's not a lawyer fucking wrestling like newsletter that goes around.
No, we just call ourselves the Illuminati, but we don't read every wrestling case.
Okay.
Yeah, if they don't call Stephen P. New and give him money, then he's out.
He's out.
So I'm pretty sure
your law stuff.
I'm pretty sure Punk and Cabana were in a joint lawsuit against the WWE or
Right.
a doctor therefore of. Punk was supposedly supposed to cover the legal fees and everything for Cabana so he would have a partner. Didn't cover them. Then Cabana got mad and sued Punk because of the fees he had to take on for the lawyer.
And then, yeah, man, could you imagine what it would cost to fucking do a lawsuit against the WWE? Holy shit, that looks like a battle royal of lawyers when they show up, when WWE goes to court, man.
Yeah, because, I mean, I wonder, is this going to cost Colt Cabana his job?
I don't think so, because, man, we know for a fact that they were best friends, and, man, best friends get mad at each other, and, money is involved, and, bygones be bygones.
And they're good?
I hope so, man, because I love Colt Cabana. I fucking love Colt Cabana.
I think
that could
I'm
be.
heel.
It should. It doesn't always, but it should. But I think that could honestly be the best blood feud AEW could put on our TV is Colt Cabana and CM Punk.
I wouldn't have been mad at that at all if that was the first opponent.
Oh, he just calls out like, "Hey, motherfucker!"
Yeah, like, hey, I'm back, and guess what? I want to go after Colt Cabana, and
maybe the reason why you can't do MJF is that MJF doesn't lose. Jericho put him over as the fifth labor, and MJF doesn't lose. So you can't have CM Punk coming back, engaging in this feud with MJF, and then having to put MJF over because of what you're trying to build in MJF as the future of your company. So something like Colt Cabana could lose to CM Punk and still be better off than where he is right now. Right. Colt Cabana raises his profile in the sport of professional wrestling just by having a feud.
And that nods to all us wrestling nerds too, that we knew the behind the scenes stuff.
Because we're listening to that podcast, right? We all listened to the podcast he did.
I've never listened to the podcast. I can't fucking stand Colt Cabana.
You're the fucking worst.
Listen, if he is if he's not going to face CM Punk, if Colt Cabana is not going to face CM Punk, I don't know why the hell he still has a job there to begin with.
Yeah, but you could say that for like so many people that signed with AEW.
You totally can. There's totally a huge list of people that should not be working at AEW. Colt Cabana is definitely on that list if he's not in a feud with CM Punk. That is the only thing relevant that I think that he could possibly do. Derek Jones, you're dying to talk. Tell me.
Okay, so two things. One, I know why Colt Cabana will have a long-standing relationship and job with AEW, but I'll get to that in a second. Two, when Brody Lee died, the Dark Order basically became baby faces. That feud would be the perfect way to turn them back heel because CM Punk is the best person that they could turn heel on, and people would buy into it. The first thing, Colt Cabana will be with AEW for a long time, and it's because of Pro Wrestling Tees.
Yep. He's one of the smartest businessmen in all of wrestling. And Brian Reznor, a man who respects business and hustle, And I cannot believe that you do not respect the hustle of the man who started wrestling podcasts. The Art of Wrestling is the first wrestling podcast. All of us who do wrestling podcasts should be giving like 2 cents on the dollar to fucking Colt Cabana. That guy started it.
Listen, if I'm giving 2 cents on the dollar to anybody, it's going to be Conrad Thompson, and I'm not
You're
even.
the worst. Oh
But
my God.
I will say, I'm
You're
not the
fucking
worst.
kidding me.
I'm not the worst. I'm just saying, Colt Cabana is he's never been anything special. He's not anything special now, and I hope that they use him for this feud, because this is the one thing that you could do with Colt Cabana and make me give a fuck. That is what.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
Even if that's the only way that people know Colt Cabana is from the pipe bomb promo. It says, hey, breaks the fourth wall. Hey, Colt Cabana, like that. You could play that small clip into that feud, and it just blows up again. I think it.
Yeah,
it
but
was,
you can't play that small clip because that small clip's owned by the WWE.
And think of how great it is, what you could do with that Colt Cabana thing, while not assuming and becoming the Supreme Allied Commander of the Dark Order. You could have Colt Cabana really put off facing CM Punk, and he could serve up a lot of those underneath guys. Think about the exposure that some of those other guys get, that the talented members of Dark Order, if you got Cabana sort of serving him up there as a go-between. I don't want Punk, just the chicken shit heel, classic heel maneuver of, give him that guy, he's not going to get to me. And then it eventually builds up to CM Punk just getting to tee off on Colt Cabana. That could work.
That's genius. Genius.
Can you imagine the Jim Cornette podcasts that would come out of CM Punk having to work with the Dark Order for fucking 18 weeks?
We don't want to give the God Emperor a fucking coronary.
I'm telling you, he would freak out over that because, and also when you said all the talented members of the Dark Order, so
easy.
John Silver,
he's good,
dude, and then you're fucking done.
That's it. John Silver's the man. That's about it.
Well, okay, we'll start with Pizzeria Uno. That should be an easy one. And then just go back from there, And by the way, on Uno, God bless him and his weight loss.
He has lost a bunch of weight.
He has lost a bunch of weight. So kudos to any of us fighting the, more chins than a San Francisco phone book right now. So God bless him for his weight loss and getting in shape and doing better in the ring. Derek, tell me, that could work, what I just said there about the Dark Order culminating. That's a 6-week feud at best.
Absolutely. But so the fact that none of you dropped Stu Grayson name in there is a little disturbing to me.
I said John Silver. That's all you needed.
I said John Silver and Grayson, and then you're done. That's what I said. So I'm a huge fan of Grayson. I'm a huge fan of Silver. I wish they were a tag team and not in the Dark Order.
Agreed. So go ahead, Derek.
Yeah, Derek, it's on you.
Oh, hey, look, I'll armchair book all night long. So I'd start it and go all the way down the list. So we're gonna start with Evil Uno, and that's gonna be pretty much a squash match for CM Punk, and that's where the Stu Grayson's gonna come in.
You mispronounced wasted. Anyway,
he's got to start somewhere.
He's got to start. Yeah, you start small. You got to build your way up to the World Championship. So. We're going to start there. We're going to go to Stu Grayson, and then we'll go to Alex Reynolds, because you're not going to get to John Silver unless you go through Alex Reynolds. And then once you get through Alex Reynolds, then you got to get to the big guy. You got to go through Preston Vance. But before you get to Preston Vance, you'll probably have a little bit of an interaction. It won't even be a match with like Alan Angels 5. Just you got to throw him in there. He's one of them.
I didn't even realize these guys had names.
I mean, neither. I don't know any of those names.
You're saying all these names. I thought it was like 1, 2, and 3. Or
yeah.
Something. Well, that is the feelings of the House of Kayfabe about CM Punk. We have went through a lot of different scenarios, and there's going to be more to talk about because he will be on Dynamite coming up next Wednesday. So I am excited, and for Matt Mullins and Stephen Pinu and Derek Jones and Stephen Barker, we are the House of Kayfabe, and we will see you next time right here on YouTube.
I never thought I'd say this, but thank you, Tony Khan.
Yeah.